everyone, and welcome to Lauren Reed Color. Thanks for joining me for today's Saturday Snippets. As you know, we are working in the Sea Life page in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson. Let me just show you the progress we've made so far. This is what we have. We've completed the bottom of the page, and now we are going to be working on the left-hand side. So we're going to do the seagrass and this coral. These are the palettes that we are working with from Sarah Renee Clark's Color Cubes, and I'm going to be using Prismacolor, and I will just show you the colors we will be working with today. So I have swatched them out in my swatch book, and we're going to be using the salmon melon colors. So cream, sand, goldenrod, henna, nectar. I may or may not use the light peach. I will see as we go along. And we're also going to be using the light sea green colors. So we're going to be mixing and matching. I'm going to use the light green, the cobalt turquoise, the indigo blue from the St. Patrick's Blue swatches, and probably the Faber-Castell Polychromos Dark Indigo as well. But before I get into any of that, I'm going to share with you all of the coloring that I did this week. So stay tuned for that. As you may or may not know, I live in Israel, and we're going through quite a bit of a challenging time right now. And so I've had more time to color than I had expected for the beginning of March. And I've completed a couple of pages and started some others that I'm working on. So I'll start with the first page that I finished this week, and it is in Lunar by Lydia Fenwick. And the page that I completed is this Bunny Keeper page. I absolutely adore the way this page came out. If you're interested, there are two tutorials that I did working on this page. I did a tutorial for her skin, and I did a tutorial for her hair. I didn't do anything for the garments because I felt that there wasn't enough to work with in terms of pleats or folds in clothing, and so I will do a separate tutorial for how I color clothes. Anyway, I really adored the way this came out, and I used Faber-Castell Polychromos on the hair. I used Prismacolor on her face, and the rest of it is Castle Arts. I also added in these flowers using my reference photo, and the background is Neocolor 2 and also Derwent Inktense on top of the Neocolor 2. So yeah, I really enjoyed coloring this page, and it was a buddy color with a wonderful holly berry color, whose page I will show you in my completed pages when I get to it. Right, so that was the first page I completed in Lunar by Lydia Fenwick. Another page that I completed this week is in Enchanted Forest by Johanna Basford, and the page I did is this Castle Gates page. This is another page that I'm really pleased with because I added in an element, and that is the walls. So I drew lines across the top here, and then I based the walls and the background with Neocolor 2s, and then I shaded on top of the Neocolor 2s at the top with Derwent Color soft pencils, quite a few layers, and then I blended it all together using odorless mineral spirits. I was considering making it darker, and I discussed this with my coloring buddy, who is Christine from Sync Colors, and she recommended that I color all of the other elements on the page and then see what it looks like. And that was perfect advice, because once I was done doing all of that, I realized that because I've got these torches glowing, it needs to be lighter. It's like the torch is illuminating the whole sky, and so it's better not to have a background that is too dark. So I really enjoyed coloring this page, and I will show you Christine's finished version in the completed pages video also at the end of the month. So that is my page in Enchanted Forest by Johanna Basford. The rest of the pages that I'll be showing you are all works in progress. The first one is in Enchanted Earth by Melpomene Chatsipani Gyotu, and the page that I'm working on is this butterfly with flowers. Now that I've started coloring it, I realize it's actually a butterfly with forest scenes in it, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm enjoying coloring this very much. It isn't taking me as long as I had expected. I thought that because there was so much detail, it would be a long process, but really once you start coloring each element, it goes quite quickly. Anyway, this is another buddy color and that I'm doing with my buddy Chrissy Wilcox, and yeah, we're enjoying the process. So I am basically using Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils on this page, and if I had to do it again, I think I would first have based it with either watercolors or alcohol markers. It's single-sided, so you can use alcohol markers, but I didn't do that. I started straight away just coloring with the pencils, and the paper is a little bit smooth, so the pencils are gliding on the paper, which is not the way that polychromos should be used. They're a layering pencil, so I think the paper needs more tooth. So in the future, I will either put down a watercolor base first and then use the polychromos, or I will use a different brand of pencil, probably Prismacolor. I think they might work better on this smoother paper. But yeah, I'm really enjoying coloring it, and it might even be finished today. We'll see. So that is my page in Enchanted Earth. The rest of the pages that I have to show you are all ones that I've started but haven't made much progress with. To begin with, I have a page in a Game of Thrones coloring book, and it is this shield with the rose on it. It is the emblem of House Tyrell in the Game of Thrones series, and I started it because I wanted to show you how to use Derwent Inktense. This coming week, there will be a video up on the channel with all my tips and tricks for using Derwent Inktense, and I used this page to demonstrate some of them. So if you're interested, that will be up very, very soon. So that's the page in A Game of Thrones. The next page is in Sagen by Maria Trolle, and I am doing a buddy with Crystal from Casually Coloring, and the page we are doing together is this House in the Woods page. So theoretically, it is part of the Snow White and Rose Red fairy tale, but you can't really see that in this page, although you do see it in the facing page. And as you can see, I've just gotten started doing the night sky background, and I am using Caran d'Ache Luminance and Derwent Light Fast pencils together. I find that those two brands of pencils work beautifully together, and yeah, I've gotten started, but I haven't made much progress. I think I will continue with this page once my butterfly is done. So that's the page in Sagen. And finally, I started a page in Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Liederhol Oberg. So a few weeks ago, I mentioned in one of my videos that I was intimidated by this book and afraid to get started in it because it's so beautiful, it's amazing quality, and that I was considering starting an Instagram group to give myself incentive. Quite a few people said that they were interested to join, and now we have several members. If you are also interested in joining, I will put a link to the group in the description box, and the more the merrier. Anyway, the page that we chose in the group for March is this bunny with the tea kettle or coffee pot, or perhaps it's a vase that is just in the shape of a coffee pot. Anyway, I really think it's cute, and I have started it. First things first, I put a border around the image, and then I put down a layer of Neocolor 2s, and I'm still going to probably be shading on top of this layer of Neocolor 2s to deepen up shadows and create sort of a glow if I can. But before I do any of that, I actually want to color the main image, and I'm going to start with the teapot, coffee pot, either in silver or metal, depending on how my shading goes. We will see what comes out. Anyway, I love this page, and I'm eager to continue it, and it will probably be colored more or less at the same time as all the other pages that I have got going on. So lots of works in progress. Anyway, so that is the page in Fairy Tales and Folklore. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our main feature, which is continuing our page in Daydreams. Right, so we are zoomed in, and I hope that I've got the whole image in frame. We're going to start off with a layer of light green over all of the seagrass. So if you've been with us from the beginning, then you know that we put down a layer of this Neocolor 2 first to get a blue undertone to all of the elements on the page, because it's supposed to be an underwater scene. So for now, I'm just going to put this layer of light green over all of these seagrass elements. And I just have to pay attention for a second and see what's what. Yeah, so I hope that you have all had a good week. As you know, my week has been interesting to say the least. We're sort of getting into a routine now, and it turns out that the academic year is going to start, but we will be teaching on Zoom. And I even had one class already, which was on Thursday. So yeah, we taught on Zoom, and thankfully there weren't any sirens during the class. Everyone knows what to do. We're all experienced. So if there's a siren, everyone just abandons the computer and goes to whichever safe room or bomb shelter they have in their vicinity. And then they come back once it's given the all clear. So yeah, so we had that, but it was quiet, for which I was really grateful, because it was the beginning of the semester and I needed to explain requirements and all of that kind of stuff, go over the syllabus. So yeah, so one of my classes was Introduction to Poetry, and we started talking about different elements of poetry. First of all, we had to define what poetry is. So all of the students gave their thoughts on it, and then we developed a definition together. And then we started talking about rhythm, meter, and sound, which you need to understand in order to analyze poetry. Yeah, I think they enjoyed it. It was a nice lesson, and you know, it's also good for them to get back into their routine and not sit around worrying, because that can be very, very difficult. It just increases stress if you've got nothing to do. You know, it's good to stay occupied. Thank goodness I have coloring. Okay, so let's move on to our next color, which is the cobalt turquoise. Okay, so just like with the other seaweed or seagrass on this page, I'm putting my highlight on the right-hand side because my imaginary light source is coming from the top right-hand side. Yeah, okay, so we're going to put this color here in the corner. Yeah, so that was that course, and the other course that I taught was 20th century literature. It's a yearly course, so they've already done one semester, and now it's the second semester. I'm trying to see, this seagrass starts there and then continues here. Okay, so in that course we're starting to discuss women authors. So in the first semester we sort of went chronologically. We did World War I poetry, we did Animal Farm, we did Lord of the Flies. Was there something else we did? I don't think so. So it's like the men. We start out with the men, and then in the second part of the course we focus on female authors. So in order to do that, I first have to give them an introduction to feminist literary criticism. So that's what we did on Thursday. So I started the introduction, and I always talk about how the feminist criticism not only affects literature, but also other cultural products like movies and music and other, kinds of popular culture, and how, because of feminist criticism, it's been a two-way street. Like, the feminism has also influenced the development of these popular cultural forms. So we talked, and I illustrate this through a discussion of Disney princesses. So everyone knows Disney princesses: Snow White, Cinderella, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, Ariel, The Little Mermaid, Jasmine from Aladdin, Elsa from Frozen, Moana. What else did we talk about? Oh, and Meredith. I think her name is Meredith. The name of the movie has escaped me right now. I'll remember and put it up on the screen. It's the one about Scotland. Oh, it's gone right out of my head. Never mind. So we talk about how their characterization has evolved over time. So, for example, Snow White is very patriarchal. So we have this girl, and she's in the forest, and she is taken in by the 7 dwarves, and she ends up being, a mother figure to them. So she cooks, she cleans, she washes the clothes, she looks after them, she tells them stories. So basically, very traditional female role. And then, of course, along comes the prince when she's in a coma and kisses her. And, that's very, consent issues are very obvious there. The same goes for Aurora. In fact, one of my students mentioned that she doesn't know why it's called Sleeping Beauty, because Aurora has such a minor role. For most of the story, she's asleep. It's more about the prince and the fairies and all of that. So she was quite put out. And then, of course, there's Cinderella, who, her agency is taken away. She becomes the object of the prince's affection. I hope I'm not ruining your favorite Disney movies. She becomes the object of his affection. And really, it's not for who she is. She's quite interchangeable. Any woman whose foot would have fit in the slipper would have, been just as good as any other. So I'm ruining your Disney experiences. Anyway, so then we talked about the first Disney princess who sort of starts to break the mold of the traditional female character is Belle. First of all, she is independent. She likes to read. She and she is the one who saves the Beast. It should be Beauty saves the Beast rather than Beauty and the Beast, because she saves him. And so it's a reversal of traditional roles, unlike Snow White and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. Here, the female character has agency, which is important. But of course, there's also the element of once they marry, they live happily ever after. And I'm assuming, she becomes a wife and a mother and a queen, a princess. So still some traditional elements there. And of course, there's the idea that she sacrificed. Her father trespassed on the beast's property. And yes, he didn't intend for it to be his daughter who came out, but that's the way it turned out. So there's the idea of the female sacrifice to the monster, sort of like, the traditional medieval ideas of virgins being sacrificed to dragons. And then we started talking about Ariel, and in order for her to, get her man, she has to be silenced. Her voice is taken away, and it's not only the physical voice, but, her thoughts, her opinions, her ideas, they're all silenced. And of course, we talked about the original Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, and it's not so happy ending, unlike the Disney version. And then we moved on to Jasmine. Jasmine's my favorite. So we moved on to Jasmine, and about, again, the female character is changing, growing, becoming more active, a more active participant. And she's the only Disney princess of the old school type of Disney princesses who wears pants. which is really cool. And she's opinionated, and she has ideas, and she contributes to the conflict. Yeah, and then of course the Disney princess after her is Elsa from Frozen, and the idea that when women are out of control, they're destructive. But I do like that story in the sense that once she accepts herself, it's a journey of self-acceptance. Once she accepts herself, she gains control over her powers. So, yeah, and if I remember correctly, Meredith, I can't remember the name of the story, she doesn't want to marry. So yeah, we can see growth of the female characters in Disney movies. Okay, I'm going back in now with the light green, and I'm just going to blend these two colors together using this color. So just a layer of this over everything. Okay. Right. Yeah, so that was my work week. I only had one class. Next week I'll have more. I have class on Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, I'm really hoping that the situation ends quickly, that it becomes peaceful, and I don't know. I just hope so, and that we can all, go back to living our lives. Yeah. Anyway, so that was that. And what else did I do this week? Yeah, so I've also been reading. I finished the book that I was reading, which is, what was I reading? It's escaped me. I don't know I think it's because I'm tired. I'm really tired. We keep getting woken up in the middle of the night. And so my brain is not necessarily functioning on all cylinders. But the book that I was reading was, it was called Spoiler Alert. And it was sweet. I really loved the beginning. The beginning was really great. And the end was great, but there were like a couple of chapters in the middle where I was, it's going into the keeping secrets trope, which I am not a fan of. Okay, wait. So we are now going to use another color, which is the indigo blue, and we're just putting this in the deepest shadows. So yeah, so I am not a fan of the keeping secrets trope. I'm constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop with that trope. Like the hero, in this case it's the hero, he has a secret, and we're always like, he's just about to tell it, and they get interrupted. And then he's again deciding to, reveal the secret when he changes his mind. And of course that it's going to come out, and that the heroine is going to be hurt and angry, and the constant dramatic tension of this is just too much, and I'm not a fan of that kind of trope. So there were a couple of chapters in the middle of the book where this was really evident and emphasized. So to be perfectly honest, I skimmed a bit. But then once it got to the bit with the reveal and the aftermath of that, and then of course the inevitable groveling of the hero, it was much better. And I did like the writing and the characters enough that I am going to continue with the series. So the next book focuses on a different couple who are more or less introduced in this book. And so I will definitely continue with this series. Another thing that I was a little bit disappointed in with this book is that the heroine, I'm not giving any spoilers, so if you're interested, and I do recommend it, it's a cool book, is that the heroine is a geologist, which I thought was really cool. And aside from mentioning that she's a geologist and incorporating her field in a couple of scenes, it's sort of like just window dressing. She's not really, it doesn't really play a huge role in the story, which I thought was a missed opportunity. Because I think her being a geologist is really cool. Anyway. So, anyway, I've started a new book and I am reading Infamous by Minerva Spencer. It's a historical romance. This is book 3 in the Rebels of the Ton series. I liked book 1. Book 1 was good. I was disappointed in book 2. I felt that in book 2, there is quite a significant age gap between the hero and the heroine, but that's not really the issue. It's just that the heroine is kind of childish and immature, and that sort of annoyed me. I found it difficult to accept that an older hero with more life experience would be interested in a girl who's basically still a child. I mean, she's 19, but she's quite childish. So I wasn't as much of a fan of that one. Oh, I really like the way these seagrasses are coming out. This is a great color combination. I'm going to have to write it down specifically in my combination book. So, where was I? Right. So anyway, so this is the book that I'm reading is book 3, and it's much better. The hero and heroine are the same age. And it's one of those redemption kind of stories. The heroine was a mean girl. Like it starts 10 years ago, and then she was a mean girl and something happens, and now she has an opportunity to redeem herself. So I'm enjoying it. It's good. And she's not a mean girl anymore. So there's character development and character growth, which is I really enjoy those kinds of books. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is really nice. This is making these purple leaves really come out. So, I mean, this is a really great color combination. Very happy with this. Okay, so I also started an audiobook. So I tend to listen to audiobooks either while I'm coloring or while I am folding laundry or doing dishes, or even though the roommate, the assistant, she's in charge of most of the laundry. But before she became my roommate and I did my own laundry and I used to fold clothes, I used to listen to audiobooks. So anyway, I listen to audiobooks also while I am doing puzzles. So I have an app on my iPad called Magic Puzzles. And while I'm doing puzzles, I listen to audiobooks. I like doing puzzles. They're fun. And so the audiobook that I'm listening to, I've just started really. I'm on I think the second chapter, is called God Rest Ye Royal Gentlemen. Okay, and it's book number 15 in the Royal Spinus series. I think I've talked about this series before, about Georgie, who is a member of the royal family, way down in the line of succession. And she does little odd jobs for the Queen. And the Queen here is Queen Mary, yes, because it's set in the early 1920s. I think it's Queen Mary, yes. And yeah, so where am I? Yes, okay, just this one. Yeah, so I'm enjoying that as well. And of course, I'm also watching TV a little bit. I've taken a break from the Chelsea Detective, and I am watching People Magazine Investigates, which is, true crime. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white. Okay, I'm going to take white and only in the highlight. Okay, so I'm just going to blend this, but only in the highlight. Okay. And then after that, we're going to go back in with the turquoise and the light green. to bring those colors back. Yeah. So it's true crime. And there was one night I was watching, I can't remember, what was the story? This was not really a story, the case. It was the Golden State Killer. Yes, it was the Golden State Killer. Really, really interesting. Anyway, I live in a small town, and we keep the doors open, we keep them unlocked. We don't necessarily lock our doors. But because I was watching that and creeping myself out, I went and I put the latch on the door because I was creeping myself out. So anyway, so I was watching that, and I was watching Jo from Geordie Colors. I was watching her Saturday. No, hers is called Sunday Snippets. I was watching her Sunday Snippets, and she was talking about a new TV show based on Jane Austen, and it's called Miss Austen, and it's based on Jane Austen's sister, Cassandra. So I'm going to be watching that very, very soon. I love period dramas. Of course, you heard last week I finished watching the Bridgertons. All right, so now with this color, I'm just going to go in a little bit just to bring it back after we have put in the white. Okay, so I just want to bring it back. So I'm going to be watching that really soon. And then I also saw that there is a new spin-off to the Harry Bosch series. So I've watched the entire original series with Titus Welliver. Of course, I've also read all the books. The books are good. I like how they did that show. I like how they took different books from the series and merged them together in the different seasons, so that it doesn't necessarily follow the order of books, but the stories that they chose to merge together work really well. I thought that they kept to the main books mostly, but also made sufficient number of changes not to ruin the books, but also to make the show interesting. So I thought that was a really good production. All right, now we're going to go back in with the light green and put this back in. Okay. So anyway, I watched all of the original series, and I started watching Bosch Legacy, which the original Bosch is still in it, but it's also focusing on his daughter, Maddie, who becomes a police officer. I think I watched all of the first season and then took a break, and I need to get back to it. And since then, there is also another spin-off based on Renee Ballard, which is another spin-off. It's a spin-off book series as well. So Renee Ballard is a spin-off of the book series, and it's also a spin-off of the TV show. But I haven't watched any of those. I need to get to them. And now they're going to be making another spin-off called Start of Watch. I'm not yet sure what it's about. Okay, I am just going to get the Faber-Castell Polychromos Dark Indigo to deepen up shadows here. Okay, so I have my dark indigo, and I'm just going to use this to deepen up the shadows just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. So I'm slowly but surely getting out of my reading slump. And I can actually thank one of my groups on Goodreads for that. I belong to a group called the Seasonal Reading Challenge. And they have tasks with categories, so I'm able to choose books that are new to me, but also books from authors that I really like. So I'm enjoying that, and it's helping me with my reading slump. So that's going well. What else did I do this week? Of course, I'm also following Camp Carter on Threads. I've recommended this channel before. She's lovely. All of the Game Changer pups, the Heated Rivalry pups, they all got adopted. They all got adopted in 2 days, which I thought was so cool. They've all got new names. They're all going to be very well loved, which is good to see. So now all that she still has she calls them the podium pups. All of them are named after the Olympics, either Olympic gold medalists or hockey terms. So she's called them but to me, they're the bottle babies. And that's because when she got them, she was feeding them by hand with a bottle. They're all weaned now, so they've graduated to the puppy pen, the larger puppy pen, and are enjoying moving around more and being more active. So she was also, in one of her posts, she was explaining that she took her dog, Fosco. So in addition to her foster puppies, which she fosters, and then they get adopted, she has 3 of her own dogs. And one of them is called Fosco. And Fosco was actually one of her foster puppies that she herself formed an attachment to and adopted. Okay, so before I carry on with that, let's zoom out and see what it looks like. Right, so I'm really pleased with the way that has come out. I'm not sure that it is as visible on the camera, but in person it really glows. So that is definitely the look that I was going for. And now we are going to move on to this coral, which I am going to make a golden yellow. So we're going to start for that with the cream, okay? So let me zoom in and we're going to do that. Okay, so I've actually changed my mind and we're going to start with the goldenrod, and we're going to put this color on the coral where it is meeting up with the seagrass, okay? Because it has to be a bit darker as it is in the shadow. So we're gonna start over here. And I wanna leave the tips of each one uncolored because we're going to put a lighter color there, okay? So what was I talking about? Yeah, Fosco. So Fosco, as I said, is Carter's actual dog, and she took him, where she finds the time for all of this, I don't know. Anyway, she took him to, it's called urban ratting. So, basically, on her post, she explains that you can take your dog to, it's sort of like a play date sort of thing. It's a company that runs these obstacle courses for dogs. And what they do is they put a rat. Okay, so before I start explaining how it works, let me just, actually, I've made a mistake. I want to erase this. It's too light, too dark here. I want it to be lighter. Here as well. Okay. So, yeah, let's leave that. So, before I continue explaining urban ratting, let me just say that I was a bit concerned about the rats. Because from what I understand, they put the rats in these aerated tubes, and then they hide them all over different obstacle courses, and then the dogs sniff them out. Okay, they get to use their instincts and their senses and all of that. And I was a bit concerned that the rats, let me just move this up a bit, might not be treated well, or something might happen to them. So I went and I looked it up. Carter explained that the rats are perfectly safe, and she was quite impressed with the fact that they seem to be enjoying themselves. But I was a bit concerned, and I read up on the whole process and what they do, and they have very strict guidelines on how the rats must be treated. So how they're not always in the tubes. They're in the tubes for a short amount of time. They're rotated out, and when they're in the tubes, which are not that small, they're quite big. They're given treats. And when they're not in the tube, so they're in cages or mazes, and they keep them active, and they look after them, and there's all sorts of rules for feeding them and keeping them happy and not cramped up, and so they're treated well, because I was worried that they might not be treated well. Okay, yeah, that's that. Now we're going to go in. I want to put my highlight in. So we're going to put the cream. Let me just give it a sharpen. So now I've got cream, and I'm putting this in the highlight areas. Anyway, so she was basically, as I said, they put the rats in these tubes, they hide them all over an obstacle course, and the dogs go and they sniff them out. And of course, when they find them, they get treats, and so on. And according to Carter, Fosco had such a fantastic time. He loved it, and they will be going back and doing it again, because she wanted to have some quality time with him. He is such a sweet dog. All the puppies love him, and all the mother dogs adore him. He is such a friendly dog. So it was good to see him getting a treat. So that was fun. So what else can I talk about? So back to books. Oh, this is also, I think, we're going to have a color that merges these colors together. Am I still on camera? Yes. I was also seeing on Threads that I think I mentioned last time, Sarah J. Maas has 2 new books coming out, and people were talking about how the books are already on USA Today's bestsellers list, even though they haven't been published yet. Okay, so now let's put in a darker color in the shadow areas. So we're going to put mahogany red in the shadow areas, and I might even put some of it in our highlight areas. We'll see, just to create a cohesive look. Anyway, but first in the shadows. So the books are already on the USA, and people couldn't understand why. They've not been published. They've not been sold yet. So how exactly are they already on the bestsellers list? And then someone explained that a while ago, the person who curated the bestsellers list for USA Today was fired or retired, and they didn't get replaced. And now they use AI to curate that list, and AI gets the names of the books from the publishing houses, and it's no longer done by a human being, and therefore the list is no longer really useful, which I thought was kind of disappointing. All right, I'm just going to put little bits of this on the tips of these corals, not any more than that. So I thought that was unfortunate. And I also saw I think it was yesterday or today, can't remember, that BuzzFeed is possibly going out of business. So BuzzFeed is perhaps shutting down, and that's sort of like the end of an era. But then other people were saying that also lately all they do is, copy and paste from other sources. There's no content really, and they're not surprised that it's going out of business. Wow, that's an end of an era. What else did I see on Threads? I just, I usually just see the animal videos. Oh, which animal video did I see? Oh, which animal? I'm trying to remember. So there was a video on Threads, a cute animal video showing dogs when their owners ask them if they want to go for a walk. I am not going to say the word, because if I say the word, then Toby is going to do exactly what those dogs in that video do. He's going to perk his head up, give me a look, and demand to go out. So I'm not going to say the dreaded W word. Yeah. So basically what I'm doing now is, if you can see in these stalks, I suppose you could call them, of seaweed, there are like these dots, and I am using them for shading. So with this color, I'm just sort of shading lightly over them. Anyway, I'm still on camera. Yeah. Let's actually, no, I'm good. Yeah. So in this video, every time the W word was used, all these dogs have different reactions, and most of them have to do with them getting really excited and demanding to, go out. Dogs are so smart. And there was one which was really sweet because the dog is deaf, and so the owner talks to it using sign language, and yeah, it works. Yeah, so that was really, really sweet. And what else? What other cute videos did I see? I can't remember. I think that was it. Okay, just a minute. I'm just going to turn the page a bit. Yeah, so that was nice. And what else did I see? That was more or less it. It was a quiet week, relatively speaking. And I'm really pleased that I'm getting back into my reading. I also play video games, but I haven't been playing as many because I've been doing coloring, reading, and puzzling. So the video games have sort of gotten a bit neglected. But I think I will maybe this coming week. I have a video game. I play on my iPad, and I like adventure games. So the game that I currently have downloaded is called Bridge to Another World. Alice in something land. I can't remember. It's one that I've actually played before, but it was a long time ago, and I can't remember, so I'm playing it again. It's a big fish game. Oh, is this broken? I think so. I've got to be. Oh, my neighbor is starting to vacuum with the Roomba. I apologize if you can hear it. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but if you can hear it, that buzzing noise is my neighbor's Roomba. Hold on. I really like the way this is coming out. How long have we been doing this for? Oh, quite a while. I think we're going to just finish with this color. And then we're going to call it a day, because I think we've been at this for quite a while. Yeah, but we're making really fantastic progress with this page. I'm thinking next week we will finish this coral, and then we will start on the jellyfish itself. I've sort of got a color scheme in mind for it. So we will see. I want to make it look like the reference picture. I don't think obviously it's not going to look exactly like the reference picture, but those colors, I want to use the colors that are in the reference picture. I want to use on the jellyfish. So it'll be interesting to see what effect we get. Yeah. So the vacuuming is a sign that it's time to to stop and go and do other things. So there we go. Okay, so let's zoom out and take a look. Okay, so that's what it's looking like right now. I really like the contrast we've got between the orangey coral and the green seagrass. And next time we're going to finish this coral, we're going to do this coral, which I think I'm going to do a different color because I don't want it clashing with the pinks and the oranges that we have over here. So it's quite possible that I will do this sea coral a different color to this sea coral. We'll see. And then we're going to start on the main element, which is this jellyfish. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me and for listening to me ramble on about all sorts of things. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you will join me again next week. Bye for now.